Hey everyone, welcome back to Let's Talk Luxury. I'm your host, Alex Brandaw, a Nashville, Tennessee-based global luxury real estate specialist and someone who is endlessly curious about the people and stories behind refined experiences. On this show, we go beyond the surface, diving deep into the craft, culture, and character behind what luxury really means today.
Brandon, thanks for being here. We're thrilled to have you, and especially such a established podcast expert as you. Thanks for being here.
It is my absolute pleasure, Alex. Thanks for having me.
Listen, it's going to be a great conversation. You have so much to share from luxury experiences on podcasts and restaurants and industry. I mean, let's get into it. Are you ready?
Let's go, man.
Okay,
I'm ready.
Man. Tell us a little bit about you, your background, your history, and start there.
Well, I'm 46 years old. I'm a Pisces. I have been married. Next week, on Tuesday, I will celebrate my 20-year wedding anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
Thank you so much. It's probably the biggest accomplishment I've ever achieved in life is staying married this long. We have two amazing boys that are 10 and 12 years old. I stay incredibly busy, and I've got several companies I'm running and helping, and I have ADHD, so I'm all over the place. But I've been in the restaurant industry for 30 years here in Nashville, and I absolutely love it. This is what I do.
Now, we know you love what you're doing, but any favorites or for old time native Nashvillians that you want to reference that bring back visiting the historical Nashville restaurants, or we just want to stay?
Yeah, I mean, there's a ton. I love Germantown Cafe. I love the Park Cafe. I operate a couple of those in Maribol and Green Hills Grill. I mean, you want to talk about legacy restaurants that are absolutely community based. We don't even market to tourists. We just have so many people who live within 3 miles of the restaurant that come in 2, sometimes 3, 4, 5 times a week, and we know their names. We love to see them and say hi. This is what we do. So yeah, there's a lot of great ones. Amerigo is another really good little local Italian restaurant. Now they've got multiple restaurants now with Char and Etch and etc. and all those others. But Amerigo was one of my first restaurant. It was my first restaurant manager job. I think it was in 2002.
Come on.
That I got hired as a manager there. I lived in Jackson, Mississippi, and managed the one in Mississippi.
Well, it's always fun to do a deep dive on Nashville restaurants. And you saw me laughing if you're watching, or may have heard it if you're listening in the car. I am one of those people that is in Green Hills Grill 3, 4, or 5 times a week, depending on the family schedule and work. And just last week was in Green Hills Grill and ran into my mother unexpectedly having lunch with one of her friends. Then I was there doing business, and on the way out, they waited and had left, and I'd said goodbye to them. And then one of her best friends came in right behind it. Like it is where Nashville, comes to eat. So
it is where Nashville comes to eat. I always joke that the one phrase you'll never hear people say in Nashville is, let's go to Green Hills for lunch, because nobody wants to drive into Green Hills. But the hardest thing to do in that restaurant is to seat a table. Because you'll say, hey, Dr. Johnson, or, come this way, and you'll start walking, and then you get 20 feet towards the table, and they've stopped at another table. Oh, that's my dentist. That's my real estate agent. Everybody knows each other. It's that classic, local restaurant feel. And it's something that's incredibly special. And it is what the fabric of the Green Hills Grill is.
It's amazing. Maribol's is the same. It's different.
Very similar.
But very similar, that it's like, wait a minute. And it's funny, I live all of these experiences. I thought they were unique to me, but it's the restaurant, not me.
Another thing, I shouldn't say this out loud, but this is a luxury podcast.
Yes, of course.
I've never seen more celebrities in a restaurant than at the Green Hills Grill. It's so unassuming and just a casual little place. California Revival is the decor in there. But man, you could walk through there and you'll see people. Is that Reed McIntyre? Is that, I saw Billy Corgan in there, who's the lead singer of Smashing Pumpkins. Who's people, politicians, and everybody, and nobody bothers them. This is just, they live down the street, and this is just where they eat lunch. It's a really unique, absolutely Nashville experience that
totally
I don't want people to find out about, but I'm talking about it now on a podcast, so never mind.
But that's okay because, they'll come in, they'll see it, they'll have the experience. I mean, look, that's Nashville, right? When you see
It is.
celebrities out, it's cool if you're cool. It's not cool if you're not cool. And,
Amen.
you know what that means. I have multiple times been at the grill and have had people with me and freak out because celebrities are there. And I'm like, hey, you got to calm down. Like, I eat here all the time and they see me here all the time. Like, you're going to ruin this. Like, stop it. You're going to ruin it for all of us. And I even had
It's a
one
thing.
guy that I told him if he didn't stop, I was like, you can go shoot your shot, but make sure I'm gone before that happens. Right. Like, shoot your shot, take your, like, I'm all for that. But man, like, maybe outside, not at the table.
Aren't you the guy who was here with the guy in the bow tie? Wait a minute. No, not me.
If that's the case, we're going to have to really ramp this podcast up. It's going to have to get some revenue going soon.
Well, after I'm on the show, it's just going to start pouring in.
Listen,
sure.
We're below to going. Well, tell us, okay, so restaurateuring for many years, 30 years. Tell us what's a misconception, industry.
In what facet? I mean, there's so many different things. I mean, that I think the biggest misconception is that it's not a real job. People that work there, people that work in restaurants aren't, they're just servers and they make good money. I mean, people that work in these restaurants do really, really well.
Sure.
Or that, I don't know how many people misconceive what people serve, but I know we use premium ingredients in every single thing that we do, and we don't make a lot of money. That's the big part, is that the margins are very thin. And if you can serve a lot of people, and our entire mission for our restaurants is, what can I do to make every guest a repeat guest? It's making every guest a repeat guest while nourishing our community is what our actual mission is. But the everyday statement that every employee, the motivating North Star is, what can I do to make every guest a repeat guest? Because if we can get guests to come back on a regular basis, and we do a very good job of that, that level of volume allows that tiny margin to last. And I think the number one complaint you get is, well, everything's expensive. And it's like, yeah, I think restaurants have menus that they print. We use melamine menus that we print every 4 or 5 months. And the price of eggs and milk, if milk goes up a quarter, Kroger changes that price immediately. We have to just live with it because we spent $800 to print menus. And so I think that margins and what we spend on food and how much money we make is a misconception.
And we'll say, walk us through something that makes something truly luxury versus just expensive.
Oh, man. And I'm going to go to Maribol for this one, because Maribol really is a luxury restaurant. And we leverage all of our purchasing in order to bring bourbon, like the best bourbon in the best environment. Little things. And I'm going to do the same thing you did. I'm going to go over like 3 or 4. This is going to be all over the place, and hopefully I can land the airplane when I'm done.
You will.
Finite details. Perfection is something that you feel, right? Luxury is something you feel. So every single day I go outside of Maribol and we blow the leaves off of the front porch, right? Because it's a 7,500 square foot mansion. There are trees everywhere. Leaves fall all day long, but twice a day I go out there and blow all of the sidewalks and all of the leaves. Every mat that has a logo name on it is facing a direction on purpose. Every single stick of silverware, every single water glass, every single thing that we do is we polish every single one of those things. Every single plate is done perfectly, and it's not anything that you would recognize. On a daily, you're not going to walk in and go, there's leaves in the front yard. Nobody's going to do that. Nobody's going to see a tiny water spot somewhere and go, what is this place? Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Every single linen, every single tablecloth has to be exactly the exact same spec. Every single orchid we have on every table, every sugar, every salt, every pepper, every single thing has to be absolutely perfect. Not because you're going to find one thing that looks bad, and you go, oh, this place is terrible, there's a water spot on my fork. But when you park your car and you turn around and you look at the house and there is no leaves and it's completely clean, and then you walk in the front door and the mats are facing just the exact same right way, so you can read the logo when you walk into the vestibule, when you walk into the restaurant versus when you leave the restaurant, when you sit down at the table, every single thing has, because you feel perfection. You feel luxury. Any one of those things is off. It's not going to be a deal breaker for 99% of people. But when we nail every single aspect of every single one of those tiny details, it feels perfect. And that is luxury. It is luxury when when you don't want for one thing. And we're trained to proactively identify when somebody looks this way to go, yes, sir, what can I bring for you? What is it? And not to have one water glass empty, not to have, it's a level of service that is beyond you recognizing what we're doing, that when you're done eating, you say, wow, I feel warm. I feel happy. I want to do that again. I want to make that happen again, because that's a special experience that, to be quite frank, after COVID, I don't expect service when I go out.
Yeah.
I just don't.
Yeah.
And so the bar has been lowered so far because everybody's used to walking in somewhere, getting a rude, what do you want? Like, okay, you want a coffee? And then turning an iPad around and saying, are you now going to tip me?
Oh,
And when you walk in somewhere and we hit every single detail that makes you feel like you're the king, when you're walking through the restaurant and the server moves out of the way and says, excuse me, sir. You're like, wow, you ever walk the room and everybody move out of the way for you? That's a special moment. That's a luxurious kind of a thing that you just don't get. And we strive every single day to make every single guest feel that way.
well, you definitely do. It's funny. Apparently I would have a second career in restaurateuring, because I was just realizing we're doing the exact same thing in real estate. From our showing to the blowings, like we have a blower that I carry with me in the truck. And before a showing, I blow the driveway and blow the walk up and make sure the mat is just right. And it's amazing to me. I'm talking about really nice houses, Nashville, $3, $4, $5, $6 million houses. And there's so many times that you'll go and it's dark and not prepped and dirty and, just lights aren't on and there's no service to it. But the first thing we do is we show them that the fridge is completely dressed with 15 different choices: coffee, tea, water, flat water, sparkling water, water with lime, Topo Chico, Mexican Cokes. Like, we've got all of that in there. And like, that really sets the tone differently when you walk in the door. Right. And I mean, already
100%.
I'm going to start making more reservations at Maribol's already based on your, prior comments, because I'm like, oh my gosh, yes. And you see that, and you're so well said. You feel it and you know it, and the smell. You got to get there an hour early to light the candle so the house smells good. So when you walk in, you're like, wow, it smells really good in here. You can't do that, on a DoorDash pickup. They're not going to smell it, right? You just hope they don't break the door on the way in and out, as they run in and out.
Well, it's really good. Have you ever read the book by Will Guidara? It is called Unreasonable Hospitality.
Yes, I'm familiar. I haven't read it, but I know I have heard it recently. Yes.
Really, hospitality, I think a lot of people identify hospitality as being something that restaurants or hotels offer, and it really spans across so many industries. And I think that real estate is a real industry where unreasonable hospitality can play. And really what it is, it's being thoughtful. It's really thinking about what's going to make this person feel good and feel up. I could give you 100 examples, but in that book, do you watch The Bear, the show The Bear?
Of course.
Will Guidara, who wrote that book, is one of the executive producers of that show. And we hear guests every day at the tables talking. And when we hear something that's special, if we can pick up on that, and one of the main things he talks about in his book is, in which they did in season 2, episode 6, it's called Forks of the show, is he used to own this restaurant called 11 Madison Park in New York. And it was a 2-star brasserie when he first got it. And he had this goal to become the best restaurant in the world. And this book is about how they did it. So he walks by a table in New York and they said, they heard the people talking. Well, this is great. So they came in with their luggage because they're on the way to the airport. Our last dinner while we're here, we went to Per Se. We went to all these places. And they said, what we never did? We never got a New York, street hot dog. Like, that's one of the things we never did. We went to all these amazing restaurants. We never got the New York thing. And they were from out of town, obviously out of the country, I guess. And so Will heard this, ran down the street, bought a hot dog from a street vendor, came back in, gave it to a chef. He sliced it into 4 little pieces, zhuzhed up the plate really nice. And then between their next course, he goes, ladies and gentlemen, the New York City water dog, and served them because you heard them talking. They were like, what? How do you do that? He has another example for real estate agents. There's usually a gift. You know, when I buy a house, the real estate agent usually gives me some kind of a gift. And I've bought a few houses in my time. There's always some, they know I like wine, or they buy a case of wine or whatever it is. He tells a story of a woman who bought a house, and the real estate agent had the door frame where the kids had their, you know, their height measured for years, had the door frame removed and installed into the new house when they closed, so that when they got to the house, it still had the door frame that had their original markings from when they were growing up as children. And it's like those little gestures go so far and above to provide hospitality, and that's nowhere near a restaurant.
Right.
And
Just
those are
that
things
little
that
mindfulness. It makes all the difference.
you can do that anywhere. You can do that in any job if you actually care. If you care about what you're doing.
Yeah. Well, just think about it. I mean, having someone, I've heard a similar story of someone saying, hey, I wanted a Coke, and they were only Pepsi people. And then you find someone does a thing, jumps the counter, goes across the street to the convenience store, buys 2 Cokes, and, you know, brings it back, you know, and like just solves the problem. I've always resonated and connected with the Ritz and their, you know, 15-5 rule. And I actually teach the 15-5 rule to my children. And the 15-5 rule, if your people aren't aware that are listening, it's that at 15 feet, you have to make eye contact. And at 5, you have to speak, you know, to guests. And I have always loved that. That and the fact that the Ritz, every single employee on the property of a Ritz is empowered to make a guest better experience better up to $200 without asking, whatever that may be. And so that's a culture, that's a commitment, that's an awareness and mindfulness of really stepping to the next level.
That is actually one of our core values at Maribol, not 15-5, but it is do the right thing. And do the right thing isn't a steal, don't steal type situation. Do the right thing is in any moment where we have a guest moment of truth, right? Where there's any moment where we consider a moment of truth, any interaction with the guest where they may make a decision where they're going to come back in and dine in our restaurant again. Do the right thing is more pronounced as you are empowered to do the right thing. If you're ever in a moment, obviously getting a manager involved is the number one thing to do, but anybody in that building is empowered to do anything that they need to do to make a guest a repeat guest. And that's across the board. Any employee can do anytime. Step outside of our system. And most of the time when somebody comes to me and says, hey, can I buy this? You know, it's a bridal shower. Can I buy him a champagne toast? And I would go, do you feel like that would make the guest a repeat guest? That's my answer to most questions that get asked to me is, do you feel like that would make the guest a repeat guest? They go, I think so. And I go, then do it. Then that's what we need to do. If that's what makes people happy and that's what they like, then that's the answer to the question. And they've learned now, oh, well, I feel like this make guest repeat guest. Let's do this. And it's like, all right, done.
Yeah. Just do it. Right. Just do it. And
Just do it.
and then that changes the mindset instead of the like, you know, dismissiveness and like, you know, like you say, post pandemic, different. It's a whole different animal, you know, and
A whole
it's
different
nice
animal.
to see it. So
you mentioned the Coke thing. I will throw another book out at you by a man named John G. Miller. It is called QBQ, The Question Behind the Question. If you haven't read that, or it sounds like you have.
Yeah, for sure. 100%.
In the opening chapter, he tells a story where that happened to him and how it was amazing, where he asked for a Diet Coke and the guy said, we have Diet Pepsi. And he's like, I'll have a water. And then 5 minutes later, here's an ice cold Diet Coke for you, sir. Like, what? Send a manager to the store. It's a great story, but it's a great book about personal accountability. I highly recommend it.
Well, you're out booking me, so I'm gonna book myself here. One of mine similar that clearly we're in line here. Have you read or familiar with Mr. Schmooze?
No.
So Mr. Schmooze, I'll get you one and I'll bring it to Maribol's this week. And compliments of the house for being a guest here at Let's Talk Luxury. Mr. Schmooze is a great book about a man who is a commercial real estate agent in Atlanta and famously known for being this and providing amazing client experiences. And I won't ruin the book for anybody, but he does a dinner that is profound. He does a golf event and he really lays out his tactics on how he does it. And again, I won't ruin the whole book, but the first dinner, he hosts a dinner at a steakhouse. And let's just say, maybe we pull this off at Maribol's together. When I have some of my Aperture Global clients in town, we will host this dinner. And what they do is they pull up and they pull up to the restaurant and they're like, yep, you have some reserved spots. reserved for Alex Brandaw's guests today, and it has their name, like their spot, right? It's got a nice thing, or the valet, even better. It's like, oh, Mr. Styll, it's so nice to see you. Alex is inside. He's waiting to see you. And this would work really well at Maribol's, actually, because he's in the bar. Go see him. And so you go into the bar, and the first thing they do is they speak to them at the bar, and you're like, hey, Brandon, it's good to see you. And they're like, boom. And you know that Brandon likes wine, and they've got the wine that you're going to have, and the bartender, boom, pulls the wine. You know what their drink is, and all that in the bar. And then you go to see, you go and get seated, and there's a preset menu, but you've got a pasta and a fish and a meat and all this. But the sommelier comes out and talks about what's going to be going on. And so then you rotate seats during the dinner. It's about 12 people. You rotate seats around so no one gets stuck with that one person that's talking way too much or not enough. And everyone has to get up and move, between like the salad and the first course and the appetizers and whatnot. And then towards the end, you get up and have dessert in the bar. Why? Because everyone's got blood in their stomach and has digested. And so they're like, hey, let's get up and get moving. This particular restaurant happened to have their own steak knives. And so as things are winding up, the manager comes out. Thanks so much for being a guest with Alex tonight. Here is a set of 4 steak knives that are branded about our place. Oh, and by the way, when you leave, your car has been detailed. Now, tell me you wouldn't be in business with that person forever if you did all of that, right? And then there's so much coordination, right? Like you come out and your car's there, and the next thing you know, your car's been completely detailed. And I mean detailed, not washed, like actually detailed. And he does a dozen other little stories like that about coffees and lunches. It's profoundly good. His golf is so cool too, so I won't ruin that one. Again, when you lean in on that, and if you did a third of it, if we take time to do a third of it, you're at a whole nother, level.
The problem is 95% of places don't do anything. And so it really it sets the bar pretty low. So when you do execute at a really high level today, I think people recognize it, which is something that, used to be a dime a dozen. Now it's something that people are like, oh, that place is fantastic. Well, and they do that a lot of there are a lot of restaurants in Nashville that do that level of service
and are all right with it, right? They do whatever they're going to do. Again, you want to align. I choose to align with places and people that have that, that wow and that intent of doing the next right thing.
100%.
Just like you said. You said something I want to hit on quickly. You talked about, some of the prices. And so how is it that you will go through educating clients about the value and when the price points may seem astronomical?
Well, it's very difficult to. One of the reasons why I do Nashville Restaurant Radio is because it gives me a platform to talk about a lot of these things. When I bring chefs and restaurateurs, and we do discuss that. Now, my podcast is a leadership podcast for people in the industry, but if you are a guest of nice restaurants, you can hear the owners and chefs of pretty much every restaurant that you want to dine at. I've had on the show for 450 episodes. I've had everybody, but that's our opportunity to talk about a lot of this stuff. And it's kind of your behind the velvet rope of what happens. It's a really inside baseball kind of thing. So if you want to learn how restaurants really work, that's how you do it. For us, we try and create the value. We try and create that feeling, right? So, premium products, premium environment, premium service allows people to understand that that's our brand. Our brand isn't, oh, well, you can just come in and do it cheaply. Yes, you could if you want to do an appetizer and some waters, but really it's people recognize in the flavor and the quality of what we're doing that this is a premium product that they're serving, and people are happy to pay. And we're value priced. Nashville's real estate's so insane right now. Commercial real estate, that if you're able to go dine at a place out in, even in Brentwood or out in the suburbs, downtown is just out of control. The overhead downtown is what's driving a lot of the prices up. Of course, food prices are up, but it's difficult to tell. We don't talk about it. We try and show people through all of the other actions that we do that this is a value. We don't sell food. We sell experiences.
No question. Well, I can give you a really good case for me. One of my favorite salads personally is that burrata, tomato salad that you cannot get, in when the tomatoes aren't fresh. It's only a summer salad. I'm like, wait a minute, that was my favorite. Where'd it go? I was mad. I'm like, I eat here all the time. What are you doing with my salad?
Or
And they're
the
like, hey,
watermelon crab salad
yes,
is
right?
another one.
Yes, can't have it. It's not in season. And they're
Nope.
like, and so now it even feels, you took something that was like, wait a minute, why'd you get rid of that? I liked it. And it was personal. And all of a sudden you leveled way up, like 3 levels up of, hold on, we don't serve that when we can't get the quality ingredients. So I think that's a great way of educating.
If you're getting peaches in December, I would question what's going on there. These are canned. This is not it. We're real big on seasonal. I remember talking to Hal Holdenbach, who's the executive chef and owner at Lachlan Table.
Yeah.
One of my absolute favorite restaurants in the city. And one of the things he does is he has the best vegetables you'll ever eat. If you ever go to Lachlan Table, whatever vegetable they have, you need to buy it. And I actually had Chris, who's his farmer, and on the same show to discuss what he does with his vegetables. But he said, I buy the most premium, the closest grown to me vegetables in the peak of the season in which they're supposed to be grown. And then I care for them deeply. And I serve them. I love them when I serve them. And it's like, you can't get a better, when vegetables are supposed to be growing and you can get them locally, that is when you want to be serving them. And
Yeah, that's right.
that's why they taste so good. I think Andy Little, who used to have Josephine, and now he's over at Strategic Hospitality, but he
Yeah.
famously said, if you took a potato and you planted a seed and you grew that potato and you watered it every day for 3 months or whatever until it came to where you could serve it and you dug it out of the ground, you treat it a lot differently. And that's local produce. And that's what, when you can serve that product, it just tastes better. And so we try and be as seasonal as we possibly can and buy as local as we possibly can, because that's when food is at its peak.
Absolutely. Oh, good.
Excuse me.
So good. Not at all. Not at all. Well, would you care to share? I'll dealer's choice this one for you. Either an extraordinary piece of experience or service you've encountered or delivered.
I grew up my mom is amazing. Right. So my mom was an international flight attendant for 20 something years, and she was nominated to be the top 30 or whatever. She was at Continental Airlines, which got purchased by United. And she was constantly recognized as being one of the best flight attendants in the world. And I think that she instilled in me this going above and beyond level of service. And there's service out there. Let me tell you what she did for my 40th birthday. For my 40th, she got a card, 40th birthday card, and she went to 15 different countries and had the passport agent stamp that birthday card with that country's thing and then write happy birthday. The passport agent wrote happy birthday to me on this card. And then she flew to 40 different states and she bought a postcard in 40 different states and had random people from 40 different states write on a postcard from that state, happy birthday from that state. And that kind of thought that goes into a gift like that is just, you should travel to 40 different states for one birthday, 15 different countries. And you go, well, I think it was, maybe, no, it was 30 states and 10 countries to equal 40. It was 30 states and 10 different countries. Sorry. And so it equaled 40. And I think that those type of things just instilled in me the joy of giving and the joy of service.
Yes.
And so for me, I have no idea when anybody walks into any of my restaurants what they're doing. I don't know if you walk in, Alex, I don't know if you just put your dog down. I don't know if you just buried your mom. I don't know if you just won the lottery. I don't know if you just got divorced. I don't know if you just got married. I have no idea what just happened with you, but I know that you walked into my building and I have one role, and that is to comfort and make you feel great. I've had so many experiences. We had a man come in and I walked by his table at the Green Hills Grill, and it was an older gentleman. And what I learned was his daughter, and she was probably 35, 40 years old. And he had the Santa Fe chicken sitting on his table and he hadn't touched it. And I walked over and I said, "Sir, how was the Santa Fe chicken?" He goes, kind of just grunted. And I said, "Wasn't very good." And the daughter stopped and said, No. He just had chemotherapy. He just finished chemotherapy. He has cancer, and his stomach he just wasn't really ready for that. And I said, well, I totally understand. And I looked at him and I said, "So you may have thought this was good." I said, "But what does sound good to you right now? I said, what?
Mm.
I go, look, I got a kitchen back there with every ingredient you can possibly imagine. You dream it and I'll make it for you.
Uh,
I go, if you want, a salad, or if you want a bowl of vanilla ice cream, you just tell me. And his eyes lit up and he went, how about a bowl of vanilla ice cream? And I said,
mm.
you got it. And I went, took his Santa Fe chicken, put it in a box for him. And I came back with a bowl of vanilla ice cream. And this 70-plus-year-old man just smiled, grabbed a spoon, and just sat there and ate his ice cream. And he couldn't have been happier.
Yeah,
And it's
man.
in those kind of moments that you just have to ask the right questions.
Mhm.
I had another table of two women that walked into the Green Hills Grill, and they said, I said, ladies, how are we doing today? And they go, oh, we're okay. And I go, two? And they said, yes, we have two people. And I said, do you have a favorite place you like to sit? Because a lot of people have favorite tables at Green Hills Grill. I go, do you have a favorite place? And they go, no, it's our first time here. And I go, well, I got the front of the restaurant. It's a little louder. It's called the Vibe. If you want to sit up here, or in the back, I have cozy booths. So you can sit. She goes, how about a cozy booth? I take him to the back. Ladies, I'm so excited you're here. John's going to take great care of you. I'm excited to have you today. She goes, do you guys have a bar? And I was like, yeah, you just walked
Through it.
right by it. Like right. I didn't say that, but I go, absolutely. She goes, can you guys make a skinny margarita? And I said, absolutely. And so I went and told John, I said, John, go take care of this. Our first time here, and make him really happy. Do whatever you can. John's great. Did a fantastic job. I came back to the table and I said, well, ladies, first time, what'd you think of the food? They go, this is delicious. I go, I got one more surprise for you. You got to have the Heath Bar Crunch Pie. It's the best. I'm going to buy it for you. I'm going to bring it out. You just tell me what you think. You don't have to eat it, but I'm going to bring it out as a special thing for you. And so we got the pie, brought it out to him, and I went to check on him one more time, and she goes, what is your name? And I said, well, I'm Brandon. She goes, are you the owner here? And I said, no, I'm the director of operations. And they said, well, the younger woman said, we just left a funeral for my father and her husband of 50 years. And we just wanted to go somewhere we didn't know anybody and to kind of just hang out. And this has been the greatest experience we've ever had. Like, thank you so much. You have no idea where people are coming from. And we just try and find every moment. And I love doing that. I love finding that and making that happen for people. And that's what keeps me going every single day. It's those little moments where you can create those memories for people. They'll never forget that. They'll never forget that lunch that they got to have that day. And I've seen them back in the restaurant maybe 15 times since then.
Wow. That's profound. Well done. Well done. And it takes a commitment that is the value. That's what really drives you. You're looking for that opportunity, and most commonly, you don't know. You don't know when you're doing that. So, wow, that's amazing. So good. So good. Well, let's pivot. One more question in the craft and the creation section here, but how do you balance tradition and innovation?
It's difficult because at both of my restaurants, we've had, we celebrate 40 years of Maribol this year. Right this very month, we're celebrating 10 years of reopening the Green Hills Grill. September 22nd is the day, 10 years. But that restaurant's been around since 1990. We're 35 years with the Green Hills Grill. So everybody has their favorite dish. Everybody has their favorite server, their favorite thing. And like you just said, you take something off the menu and all of a sudden people say, oh, what are you doing? How is this? And you're like, well, we're trying to innovate and bring new things in. We have a core base of these are things that are never changing. These are the things that you're going to get all the time. And then we do specials. I have a special menu. I do a chef's menu at Maribol, which comes out seasonally when seasonal items come available for all 4 seasons. We switch it up. And that's the innovative side. So we bring in all kinds of really cool local fruits and vegetables, not many fruits, mostly vegetables, whatever seafood we can get our hands on, if there's octopus or something neat. So we have a special menu that has that innovative side to it. Same thing at the Green Hills Grill. We do monthly specials there. And those are items that are trending, things you might like, old favorites that come back. Strawberry shortcake is one that we do during the summertime when strawberries are in season, or it's actually more springtime when strawberries are in season. But we do all of that. What was that?
Barbecue shrimp quesadilla.
I want to say
It's on the menu. It's on the comeback. It's on the anniversary.
It's right now on the menu. I think on the anniversary menu. Yeah. I was like, wait a minute, no, that's on the special right now.
Oh
so
yeah.
You have to be in our restaurants. It's funny because every new bar manager that I hire, they always come in and they go, "Why do you still serve Kendall Jackson?" And I say, because that's our number one selling wine. Well, that was really big in 1997. It's 2025. How are you still selling that? And I go, because I'm going to regret saying this, but I pay $11 a bottle and sell it for $14 a glass. That's where the margin comes from. We sell it for like $35 a bottle. All of our bottles at both restaurants are half price all the time. So, and that's a real thing. We do that because we want you to, we don't want wine to be the thing that makes you not come back. Food is volatile. I got to bring food in. It goes bad. I have to prep it. I have to store it. Wine, look, I order it. It comes in the back door. It goes in a thing. I don't have to prep it. It doesn't go bad. All you got to do is open it and sell it. And most people, that's where they take their margins in restaurants. And we don't. We don't take our margins, except by the glass. By the glass, you're gonna pay a little more. But by the bottle, I want you to be able to come in and have dinner with your family and have a bottle of wine, because a bottle of wine with dinner is fantastic. Yeah. And I want you to be able to have the bottle of wine and not look at your bank account the next day and go, I'm never going there again. We want to make it affordable so you can come back again, making every guest a repeat guest. I want you to come back. So all of our wine is always half price. But that, and the number one, people, if I took Kendall Jackson off the menu, I would have a mutiny. And so do I want to be innovative and find the really cool Chardonnay, that's the brand new Chardonnay that I have to retell the story of and brand it and sell it? And well, it's like Kendall Jackson. Just have Kendall Jackson. Just have the wine that everybody wants on the menu. And so at both restaurants, we have that Sonoma-Cutrer, the Coppola Cab, like the things that everybody knows, loves, and wants, and it feels like home when they drink it. We still have it. So we balance those things well, but we're community restaurants that we know the number one seller we have at Maribol's, the salmon and corn cakes. But number two is the filet with mashed potatoes and green beans. It's funny. Most people like the luxury that the standard. I know I'm going to go out. I know I want a glass of Cabernet and I want a filet with mashed potatoes and green beans. And I got no problem with that. I got no problem with that whatsoever.
That's right. Because you could deliver it and it'll be an amazing experience.
I can do that. I can execute that every day, 100% of the time, 99% of the time. Maybe somebody wants it cooked a little weird way or something like, that we mess up on. We're human beings. It happens. We get it fixed really quickly. But sometimes innovation, I think people can innovate themselves out of people's good graces. Play the hits. I don't want to go see the Rolling Stones and hear a bunch of B-sides. Yeah. I want to hear Start Me Up. I want to hear play the hits. And that's one of the things we do. We call it good food people like to eat. Yeah. That's what we want to do. We want to serve food. All the ingredients. Gosh, I want one of everything on this menu. Good. Come back tomorrow and get that thing. Some people try and innovate too much.
We have got to wrap because my face is starting to hurt. I'm smiling too much knowingly between both of your restaurants. Two final things as we close today. What's one luxury experience item that you think everyone should experience at least once?
One luxury experience everybody should experience at
or item
least.
Yeah, I mean, if it a watch or a pin or a food, I mean, just something. I mean, it could be something in the restaurants, it could be something anywhere in the world. No limits.
You know what? I love a really nice, like all-inclusive, high-end, like splurge for the sweet. In a hotel can give you really nice things. We just got back from Mexico, but like going somewhere where you can just have anything you want whenever you want it. And nothing is based on price, really. It's just opulence at a really well done resort like that, where you can just hang at the pool and have people bring you stuff. That level of not wondering what something costs. And I don't know if some people do that, some people don't. I don't know, but a really good experience, a good experience that's once in a lifetime is something I think you should splurge on and you should do, because that's memories. You only live once. You can save your way to the grave, but you know what? Standing on top of Corcovado, the Christ the Redeemer statue in Rio de Janeiro, or standing on top of the Arc de Triomphe in Paris, looking at the Eiffel Tower down Champs-Élysées, those little moments in life, to me, with people that you care about, are the things that I will spend anything on. Also, a really good pair of Air Jordans.
Gotta have good days.
I collect shoes. I'm a shoe guy. You may be a bow tie guy. I collect shoes. I got a lot of Air Jordans, and that's my little thing that I have.
We'll do it. We'll do a little trade, okay? I'll get you up into a couple of bow ties. You get me into a couple of J's. I'm sure your feet are bigger than mine, but with the neck, we'll get you covered. Final one that we leave with every guest is today. What is in your book of life? What's your current chapter, and what is it called?
My current book on life right now is called Frenetic.
Okay.
It's called Crazy. I just launched a company, soft launch in January, really launched it in August. And so I started the Nashville Area Restaurant Alliance, which is through all of the connections and people. It's a kind of a micro GPO business and a fractional COO business. And I bring I've got 39 restaurants involved, and I bring these restaurants together to collectively bargain better pricing for them.
Amazing.
And that's a lot launching that. It's a lot doing 2 restaurants. I had 3. We closed one of them Friday. Chago's Cantina was our third one. That's closing on Friday. So I'm now using the vernacular of I have 2 restaurants, 3 restaurants, that 4 podcasts, 2 boys, 10 and 12, 20 years of marriage, managing all of that. It is a zoo. And so every single day it is just, I don't stop. And it's a season that I love, and I'm more excited than I've ever been for the future and everything that's going on. Yeah, so I think this is the busy chapter in a good way.
No doubt.
A lot of great things happening.
Again, my face is hurting because I've been smiling knowingly on every moment of this podcast, and awareness of the things and the people and the places, and that too in the season of life. I'm well aware. Well, listen, thanks so much for joining us. If people want to reach out or connect, what's your favorite platform or medium for them to connect with you?
I'm on Instagram at Brandon Styll, but also at Nashville Restaurant Radio or at NARA Nashville. You can see the Nashville Restaurant Radio behind me. NARA, N-A-R-A Nashville. If you want to know where to go eat local, if you want to go eat great local restaurants, at naranashville.com, I've got you can look at our restaurant members, and all of these are all certified local restaurants that are doing the right thing. A lot of local legends in there, like the Rose Pepper, new places like Bad Idea, Pelican and Pig, Alabrije, SS Guy, Noco, Case, Peninsula, Germantown Cafe, Park Cafe, Maribol, Mockingbird, Tio Fun. So many amazing restaurants out there. I mean, I could talk about what the best restaurants are in Nashville for another hour. I mean, we could do this all day.
We'll have you back on the 40th episode. When we go through Nashville's best, we'll hit that. That'll be fun, man, for sure.
When you do Nashville's best, I want to come back because we got so many amazing restaurants out there that the number one comment people tell me is they go, man, I can't even keep up with it. And I go, well, good, because I've culled them all at naranashville.com. You can see and supporting, I want to say this before we go. Pricing, I talked earlier about margins. I talked about, you said, how do you justify this, or how do you educate people? The most important thing to educate people on is which restaurants are actually local restaurants, right? Because these are people who've bet it all on Nashville, and they're in the building, shaking your hands. They genuinely care about your service. These are the people that create those community dinners where you get to go have lunch at Green Hills Grill, those type of things. Supporting your local restaurants means more than anything right now because Nashville is under attack. There are so many chain restaurants that just want a piece of what Nashville is. Some of them are amazing. Some of them are really nice. Definitely go check them out. But for your day-in go-tos, find a good local restaurant and go support them. It means the world. It's that volume. It's people coming back in. I want to see less local staples close and more local staples thrive. And
Amen.
There's new restaurants opening every day. I mean, everyone wants to go find the new cool restaurant. Go find a restaurant that's been doing it for a while in your community because they genuinely care about you, your family, and taking care of you. Real hospitality. It's not, we wanted a place in Nashville, so we opened this place, and it may be fine, but the people that genuinely care about you, that will remember your name, those are your local restaurants, and please go support them.
Amen from the choir loft.
I know you do, but I don't know who's listening, but a lot of people say, oh, I love bourbon steak or whatever, and it's nothing wrong with bourbon steak, but man, there's a bunch of local steakhouses that would love your business. There's a lot of people that are sending their kids to the same school as your kid that need your support, and
100%.
Let's not send that money outside of Nashville. Let's keep it here in town, and let's keep those restaurants afloat.
Yes, indeed. Because we don't want to see another Nashville OG, close and, give way to a national chain that we didn't need anyway. You know, we don't need another
100%.
Chipotle. We don't need another Chipotle. Chipotle is great, and my kids spend a lot of money there, but we don't need another one.
We don't need another one.
We got
It's
plenty.
not a thing. And I can give you a full list of anybody. If you're curious about it, I'm happy to help anybody find their favorite local restaurant in town. I can do that's kind of one of my specialties.
Yeah, we'll backlink that for sure in the show notes for sure, man. So this is one
Well,
of my
thank you,
favorite
Alex, for your
episodes
time.
for sure. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure.
Thanks for tuning in to Let's Talk Luxury. If you enjoyed this episode, please be sure to follow, rate, and share this with someone you know that would like to know more about the finer things in luxury and how things are done differently. I'm Alex, and I'll catch you next time as we keep defining what luxury really means.